Avowed will not be an open world game. And I know for some people this is old news, and for some people this is like, wait, what? But it definitely looks like an open world game. What do they mean? Well, look, when you were saying open world, most of the people out there have a very distinct notion about what that has to entail, which means you are starting on one end of the map and you can immediately walk to the other end of the map without any repercussions, without any stopgaps, like let's say in Skyrim, after you are done with the tutorial, the world is open to you, right? And the developers have said that's not how they approach it. And if you want to check out what the developers said exactly and you want to verify my video, you can do so by clicking on the link down below in the video description, which is getting you to the interview. But as I said, they are working with zones here. And this is not an unusual approach. This has been going on for some years now in the gaming industry, actually for a few decades now at this point. And this is one of the ways on how you can handle open world games. So there are three approaches to the open world formula. The one is the Elder Scrolls Fallout approach or Cyberpunk 2.0, where the whole world map is immediately open to you, right? You are done with the tutorial, you're done with like the first 2 or 3 main quests, and then you can just go wherever you want, and the enemies and the content will always be around your level. The downside of all of this is you will never find something which is more dangerous. You will never find like an enemy where you go, oh, dude, this enemy is insane. I better come back in a few hours and try it again. They don't do that because they have to make sure that everything is approachable and that you can go everywhere you want immediately. And so they have to make the encounters in a way that they're around your level. That doesn't mean that you don't find enemies which are a little bit more tactical, a little bit more stronger, but it is still all in the same level area. Then there is a second way on how you can do open world, which is quite the opposite, where you can still technically go everywhere on the map if you want to, but there are still already some stop gaps in the game, and there are clearly areas where the enemy will beat the living shit out of you. Elden Ring has done that, right? Where you can technically go immediately into all those areas, but you will not survive. Or Cyberpunk till 2.0 has done the same thing, where you could technically go everywhere in Night City, but there would just be enemies which are like 20 levels above you, and you will have no chance of beating them. And the game is clearly telling you, come back in 20 hours, come back in 30 hours when you have reached a certain level, when you have reached certain equipment. And I never really liked that too much, because sometimes you see something in the distance, you see like something really cool, and you're like, man, I want to do this now. And the game is just outright, no, you can't. You just can't, because your character didn't progress enough. And then there's a third way of doing this, and that is basically what Avowed is doing here. They take the world map, right, and split them up into zones. And you can only leave the zones when you have probably done the main quest in that zone. But what they can do with this certain way of handling open world is they can create encounters which are very close to your level, especially when you are playing the main storyline and when you are playing those main encounters. They will always be around your level and they will be relatively smooth sailing. But then they can also say, okay, the rest of the zone, yo, that's uncharted territory. You have to figure it out, and there will be content you might not be ready for. And games who have done that before are The Outer Worlds, which, funny enough, is also from Obsidian, of course, and just recently, Baldur's Gate 3. And if you're looking at Baldur's Gate 3 zones, they're huge. There is so much content. Like in the first zone, you have like 30 hours of content if you just want to focus on that zone completely. And yes, there will be encounters which will beat the living shit out of you right from the get-go. And you want to come back in like 2 or 3 hours when you got at least a little bit equipment and a little bit of levels and they will still be tough. They will still be tough as nails, but you can technically manage them. And that's basically the approach Avowed is trying here, right? Main stuff, smooth sailing, everything else, that's optional, and they can tinker with the difficulty as much as they like, and I really enjoy that approach. Now, with that said, we're at the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please leave a like. And also, if you're new to the channel, you want to see more RP videos and survivor games, which we are focusing on here, and of course, more Avowed videos, I would appreciate if you might consider to subscribe to the channel as we are gearing up for the early access release. With that said, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.